Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a new day, a bright Sunday, a day that the Lord has made, that we should all be glad and rejoice in it. Today is yet another episode of health issues. The topic is preventive measures of kidney failure. Everyone, wherever you are, whoever you are, however you have kidneys or a kidney if there has been a problem. Therefore, this topic is very important to everyone. So therefore, I will encourage our viewers and listeners to invite friends and family to join us as we discuss this important topic. Some people in a different part of this world can manage it easily, not because they are living healthy life, but because they have the resources to back them up when they encounter this problem. But others don't have the resources. That makes this topic very important for us all, including ourselves, presenting this program to everyone. Let us join hands together this afternoon as we concentrate on this topic so that we can live longer than what is expected for us to survive. This afternoon, I have my two brothers with me. I have Brother George Ackon and Brother Clement Edusaf. The first person to join me is our brother Clement Edusafo. And as we journey through the topic, Brother George will join us later. Brother Clement, you're welcome once again to Richmond Media.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for honoring our invitation as well. It is a great pleasure to have you this afternoon as we discuss this very important topic. Today, to our viewers, whoever is watching us this afternoon, listening to us, we say you're once again welcome to Richmond Media, bringing to your doorsteps health issues. Brother Clement, I'm used to Brother George, so please pardon me if uh, I slip my tongue. Brother Clement, could you please give us the overview of today's topic? Thank you.
Okay. So thank you for having me. It's a privilege to be invited to your platform to share my knowledge on this topic. So today we are talking about preventive measures for kidney failures, and I would like to give an overview of the kidney before we delve more into the topic. So basically, the kidney is an organ that is situated at the back of the abdomen. So when we take anybody, for example, be it a female or a male, this is one organ we both share, and the kidney is the organ that basically filters the blood. So whatever we put into our body is the kidney's job to filter it and then bring the byproduct of these things we eat out of the body. And the kidney, for when one is dysfunctional, the other one can work. So it's quite a remarkable organ, and most people are blessed with two. So if we are taking the kidney for an example and we are considering it into the detail, the kidney, when I present this topic, I would always say you imagine something, the kidney is like a beans. It's always shaped like a beans. So it's a bean shaped organ situated at the back of the um, abdomen. And this is where all the blood in the body pass through to get filtered. So that is the overview of the kidney. So the kidney is like the analogy I would make is like a sponge in the body that collects all the dirt in the system. So that is what the kidney does.
Thank you so much, Brother Clement. And if Brother George is around, please, you can join us. However, if we cannot see you, we can hear your voice. Thank you so much. Brother Clement, thank you so much for giving us this overview of the topic. Now that we know what it is, the overview of it, what are the functions of the kidneys or
So
the
basic,
kidney? Because it might be one. Not
yeah.
everyone has to. Thank you.
So the kidney, it plays a number of roles in the body. So as I said in my introduction, in the overview, that the kidney filters all the waste product from the body. So the first thing the kidney does is, as I said, byproduct of metabolism. When we put like food in our body, drugs and everything, the body would process it, and then it will go through the kidney, and the kidney will filter it, and then the byproduct of these, the bad ones, I would say, the bad ones that the body doesn't need for survival, it will come out through our urine. So the one function is for it to process the byproducts of metabolism, and the other function is for it to also create or make urine. So these are some of the two functions of the kidneys. The other function that we I would like to talk about is blood pressure regulation. So our blood pressure, we all know this when you go to the hospitals, or sometimes we have these machines now predominantly at homes where people would use the BP machine to check their blood pressure. So a contributing factor of what your blood pressure is also regulated by the kidneys. So the kidney also control your blood pressure within the normal limits. So when you have a problem with your kidney, your blood pressure can go high. One way it does this is that it controls the amount of water in your body. So if your blood pressure is too high because there is too much fluids in your system, the kidneys will push it out. So if you are very observant, when you take in too much fluids on a particular day, you realize that you pee a lot. So if you have a normal functioning kidney, that is what is supposed to happen. So in a normal person, the input and output. So if you know you drink about 1 liter of fluids, if your everything is functioning normally in the body, the same 1 liter needs to come out. Yeah. So when you drink a lot, yeah, and the body takes what it wants, then the kidneys will push the excess amount out. So with the regulation of blood pressure, is it comes with regulating of the body fluids as well. So these are some of the functionings of the kidneys. It also regulates the amount of fluids and electrolytes, as I explained earlier when I was explaining the blood pressure. The electrolytes that it regulates is there are certain things we need in our body. For example, sodium, which we predominantly get from salt and other sources. So these things, the kidney also regulates. You don't want too much in the body, and you don't want too less in the body. So it's the job of the kidney to keep this thing in a balance. So the kidney, by doing this, help push some of the electrolytes. If it's too much in the blood, it pushes them out. And if it's too little, it conserves them in the body. So by so doing, it keeps our blood pressure and other vital functions like nerve impulse transmission, all of them um, in harmony. So these are some of the functions that the kidney plays. Another thing it does is also control the acid-base balance in the blood. This by also controlling the electrolytes, as I have already explained. So these are some of the functions of our kidneys. The another important function that the kidney plays is also red blood cell production. So when the body is to make more red blood cell, for example, you get a cut, you lose a lot of blood, the blood that comes out, the body needs to replace it. Or probably you get bitten by mosquitoes, then you develop malaria, and malaria parasite, they destroy your red blood cells in effect. So you have anemia. When you have anemia or you lose blood, the kidneys produce a hormone that will tell your bone marrows, your bones, to produce more of these red blood cells so that it will replace the ones that you have lost. So the kidney plays very vital roles in the body. Again, it also helps us to absorb vitamin D. So we have all heard that when you sit in the sun, your body, you will get vitamin D. So we are advised that when the morning sun is rising, you can go and sit in it. It's very healthy. And when you travel to foreign countries where like the UK and elsewhere, where there are less sunshine, during the summertime, people are advised to go more, to be more outgoing, or go out so that they can soak in the sun, so that they can um, synthesize some vitamin D. So this vitamin D, for the body to produce the vitamin D, the liver and the kidney play a vital role in doing this. So without a good and a functioning kidney, even if you sit in the sun, you may not be able to produce enough vitamin D, which will in turn help with calcium absorption. So all these are some of the functions of the kidney. One more function I would like to touch on is controlling of the blood sugar. So um, when we eat and then the food is processed and the blood passes through the kidneys, some of these, the sugar in the food gets filtered into the kidneys, and in the kidneys it reabsorbs some of these blood sugars back into the bloodstream for us to use. So if you have an impaired kidney, what happens is this reabsorption would not function correctly. So you end up having a lot of sugar in your urine. So sometimes people say, "Oh, my urine smells like sugar," or they may say that it tastes sweet or something like that. Or when they urinate at a place, like they see ant or something. So which means that you are developing problems with your kidney because your kidney is not playing the role of controlling the sugar in it. And in clinical settings, when sometimes people go into the hospital, especially pregnant women, they will be given a dip to, when they will say, "Oh, bring a sample of your urine," and then in that test they test some things like ketones and also the blood, the sugar in your urine. So these are some indication that your kidney is functioning as it should or is not functioning as it should. So the kidney plays a role in controlling the blood amount of sugar in our blood. So these are some of the functions of the kidney that I would like to talk about. If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer before we proceed.
At the moment, we haven't got much to ask, but Brother George, have you got any additional contribution to what Brother Clement has given us? Okay, Brother George is so not really in touch. Yeah, that's the word I have to put it in. Brother Clement, as you've given us the functions of the kidney, then it is very important to for you to warn us of the things surrounding the kidney that we might develop that will lead us into kidney failure. So, in this case, what are the risk factors of developing kidney failure?
Okay. So there are quite a number of risk factors, pardon me, risk factors for developing kidney failure. So I've put a few down, and I would elaborate. So the first things are some lifestyle diseases, as we would call it. Um, Diabetes is on top of the list. Diabetes is one major risk factor for developing um, chronic kidney disease. And the way this happens is that when one develop diabetes, yeah, um, the circulation of blood to the body, parts of the body, gets impaired. So with diabetes come another problem with blood vessels, changes in your blood vessels. When you have diabetes and the sugar is not controlled with tightly, or is is not controlled as it should, you start developing problems in your blood vessels. Yeah, that is what lead to you not sometimes you at the you develop things like neuropathy. That is, you do not feel things. So that the changes that occur in the small blood vessels, such changes also occur in the big blood vessels. So if care is not taken, instead of blood, what the kidney function predominantly on is blood flow. That is the key lifeline for the kidney. So if anything that will impair blood flow from going into the kidneys, that would cause problems. So with diabetes, if blood sugar is not controlled, and then we have problems in our blood vessels, which in turn block blood from circulating to the kidneys or causes changes in the kidneys itself, then we are at risk of developing uh, chronic kidney failure. So that is how diabetes would lead one to develop kidney failure. The other thing, another condition that is also very common, that which I'm passionate about, and that is very dangerous, but we tend to downplay um, the the seriousness of the condition, is high blood pressure. And we would know that some of us may be aware of the nickname it has, like we call it silent killer, because it doesn't produce any symptoms. So high blood pressure also lead can lead to kidney failure if it's not controlled. So with high blood pressure, the kidneys are made up of smaller units, or the functional units they are called nephrons. So these nephrons are the ones that are actually doing the jobs in the kidneys. And if there is high blood pressure and the blood flowing into the kidney is too much, it causes damage to these cells. So with high blood pressure, we the sure way to go is to bring it under control. Otherwise, it will cause damage to these the vessels, and also with the nephrons in the kidneys, which will in turn lead to kidney failure in the long run. So these are how these risk factors may predispose an individual to getting chronic kidney failure. Um, the other one is also heart disease or heart failure. As I mentioned, the kidney predominantly functions on blood. So is if the circulation is good and all the blood that is going into the kidneys is very, very good, then you wouldn't have any problems. But when the heart fails, heart failure is basically the functioning of the heart is not adequate to meet the demand of the body. So when this happens, the kidney doesn't get the blood that it needs to survive. So that will also lead to the kidney failing. And we also have other um, predisposing factors, such as the obesity. So with obesity, what happens is that there is a lot of area for the blood to circulate to, and it gives unnecessary pressure to the blood. High demand, which means it cannot service all the vital organs as it should, which predispose an individual to getting kidney failure. And aging is also one of the things. So people who are age over 60 are at risk of developing chronic kidney failure. And as we age, what happens is that our blood vessels become rigid, and then other conditions setting. So these things, there are a few people over the age of 60 that will not have one condition or the other, but predominantly what happens is that the elasticity of the blood vessels tend to decrease over time. So then the blood supplies to the kidneys is impaired, and then it leads to the kidney not having sufficient blood, which will lead to the kidneys failing in the long run. Another risk factor that we are considering is also family history of CKD. So if you are from a family that has a history of kidney failure, you are also at a higher risk. Some of these risk factors are genetic. So there are conditions like polycystic kidneys. So polycystic kidneys is just that in your kidneys, in the you are your genetic makeup is in such a way that in your kidneys tends to cyst form, like fluid filled spaces tend to form in your kidneys, which will eventually cause the kidneys to fail. So such risk factors are also can lead to chronic kidney failure. So these are some of the risk factors. Um, Personal history of acute kidney injury also predisposed to chronic kidney disease or chronic kidney failure. So with AKI or acute kidney injury, what happens is that it usually is reversible. Usually, acute kidney injury is reversible, and then once it happens and through with the right support and treatment, the kidneys can recover. But sometimes you get residual damage, or sometimes some people do not recover from these acute kidney injuries. Hence, they can develop chronic kidney failure at a later stage. So these are some of the risk factors. Another risk factor that I another risk factor is also smoking. Smoking. So basically, with smoking, smoking contains cigarettes, which most people smoke, contain nicotine, and nicotine is a vasoconstrictor. It causes the blood vessels to narrow. So it's just like someone who is uh, or it's just like any condition that blocks blood from circulating to the kidneys. So all these risk factors basically have almost the same um, mechanism for causing the kidneys to fail. So nicotine will cause vasoconstriction, which will in turn block blood supplies to the kidneys, and then lead to the kidneys starving of blood and leading to um, kidney failure. All these are risk factors. It's not a causation. So what it means is that if you have these things, it doesn't mean that definitely you are not going to you are going to develop it. What it means is that you are at a higher risk than the average person for developing chronic kidney failure. So these are some of the risk factors that I would like to highlight.
Thank you so much, Brother Clement, for giving us this in-depth explanation of how we are being affected or the risk factors that uh, lead us into kidney failure. Brother George, are you still with us? We still cannot. Okay, that's fine. Let's move on if that is the case. Now that we have you've given us the risk factors, how can we know or how can we identify the signs and symptoms of kidney failure, please? Thank you.
So the signs and symptoms of kidney failure. So these signs and symptoms, most of them looks like other conditions. So if you are to experience any one of them, and what we would advise is to seek medical attention. It doesn't mean that definitely you have chronic kidney failure. It's not a death sentence. So as we go through, you see that, oh, this mimic some of the symptoms of malaria or other diseases, but it doesn't. When you see any of these, it doesn't mean that you definitely have kidney problems. So that is to allay your anxiety. So one thing about the human body is that it's a remarkable organ, or it's a remarkable machine. Yeah. So a lot of things can go wrong, but it will still function as normal. And if we are not alert on the red flags that um, can tell us that something is going on, then before we realize, thing has already gotten out of control. So with chronic kidney failure, these are some of the symptoms that you may experience. Yeah. So the first thing is foamy urine. So when you urinate, you see that it's forming like foams. So foamy urine, um, that is one sign that you that can show that something is wrong with my kidney. I need to check this out. And urinating more often or less often, yeah, than usual. So as I said, if you are taking more water, obviously you are going to urinate a lot more, because if you are having a good kidney, that's how it's supposed to function. But sometimes you see that this urination is not by any chance related to the amount of fluids I'm taking in. Then that is a point for us to get uh, start to look into it. And the other thing we also you may an individual may experience is dry or itchy skin. So dry or itchy skin usually would come about um, as the kidneys start to fail. Yeah, the byproduct, the the byproduct, the things that are supposed to come out of the body, as we explain in the functions of the kidneys, that um, the kidneys get rid of the byproducts of metabolism. These things start to build up in the body. Yeah, and once they build up, because the body is not the usual place for it to say, it sometimes may start to cause you to itch on the skin. And because most of these things that are supposed to come out are actually acidic and stuff. So once they build in the body, they cause the skin to itch, and you may develop dry skin or itchy skin. Another symptom one may experience is feeling tired. Yeah, feeling tired, because the kidney also help with blood pressure regulation. It helps with red blood cells that is responsible for carrying oxygen in the body. If all these functions are not working as it should, you will start to feel tired, because you wouldn't have enough red blood cells in your body to carry the oxygen around. So then the less with the least exertion, you start to feel breathless, or you feel really tired. Nausea is also one of the symptoms an individual may experience. Um, so as the byproduct builds in the blood, you don't even feel the appetite to eat. And sometimes people may lose weight, and sometimes people may gain weight. Yeah. So weight gain will usually come at the later stage. Yeah. However, some people may lose weight as these kidney the early symptoms of kidney damage starts to manifest. And we also have poor concentration, because there are a lot of toxins in your blood. They are circulating in your mind, and your mind cannot actually focus on anything. And you also experience numbness and swelling. So one of the predominants that we may be familiar with when we say someone has kidney failure is that they develop swelling of the feet or swelling of the belly, and those are really at the end stage. And what happens in that case is that instead the kidney is responsible for regulating fluids. So now the kidney is not able to do that. So the body cannot get rid of the excess fluid that is coming in. Yeah. So these fluid, instead of you peeing them away, stays in the body, and then wherever there is space in the body, then it goes to. So you will see a lot of fluids accumulating in the abdomen, and also fluids accumulating dependent areas such as the feet. So when you sit down, or when the person um, travels in a car for a significant amount of time, by the time they get out, you see that they have swelling of the feet. So these are signs to alert an individual that something is wrong somewhere. And these are also similar to other conditions such as heart problems and also liver problems. These people with this condition also experiences swelling. So if you experience this, don't self-diagnose, but seek medical attention. The other thing is also there is the need to pee at night. You may experience achy or cramping muscle, shortness of breath as the fluids build around the lungs, and sometimes vomiting, trouble sleeping because you are breathless, you cannot actually sleep, and some at the later stage when the toxins are accumulated, you have this ammonia breath, or the individual's breath smells like ammonia. Another thing is also erectile dysfunction in men. So these are all symptoms to show to signal that something is going wrong. Some, but in particular with reference to men, one episode of erectile dysfunction, as I have already said, it doesn't conclude that you have a problems with your kidney. So if you have an erectile dysfunction, it definitely means that something is wrong with your health, and you need medical advice, or you need medical checkup rather than self-medicate. Okay, so
Thank
these are
you.
some of the functions. Oh no, sorry, these are some of the symptoms. Sorry.
That's okay. Thank you so much for giving us what we need, because that's exactly what we need. And at this point, definitely when there is signs and symptoms, wherever there is something, signs and symptoms showing up, there will be a treatment option. So, what are the treatment options for kidney failure, please?
So, with kidney failures, unfortunately, there aren't a lot of curative treatment around. So once you are diagnosed that you have chronic kidney failure, yeah, once you are diagnosed of having chronic failure, it's either doctors, another multidisciplinary team will try to manage it um, symptomatically. Yeah. So what they would do is to give you some medications. So if it's electrolytes that is accumulating in the body, they will give you a medication that will get rid of these electrolytes. If it's fluids, they will give you some diuretic to clear it. So it's all about managing it symptomatically if you are diagnosed with chronic kidney disease or chronic kidney failure. With chronic kidney failure, there is a distinction between acute kidney failure and chronic. With acute kidney failure, it's always reversible, almost all the time. It's always reversible. We know we can reverse it, but with chronic kidney failure, it is not reversible. So once you are diagnosed with chronic the treatment option is conservative treatment, which will be like doctors trying to manage the symptoms. The other treatment that is there, as we all may be aware, or most of us may be aware, is dialysis, hemodialysis. So hemodialysis is the process whereby we your normal kidneys are not functioning. So there is the use of artificial kidneys. So the dialysis machine is an artificial kidneys. So your blood would be passed through maybe twice, depending on your treatment regimen as determined by your physician. The once or twice you go to the clinic, the dialysis unit, for your blood to be removed from your body and passed through the dialysis machine to filter it and return to you. So that is the other um, treatment option available, which is quite expensive. I don't know how much a session cost, but I know it's quite expensive, and a lot of people who get diagnosed with um, chronic kidney failure are not able to afford the treatment because it may require you to go to the dialysis unit maybe twice or three times a week, and if a section is going to cost you 100 Ghana cedi, or not 100, 1,000 Ghana cedi. 1,000 Ghana cedi, which is the old currency, would be 10 million. So, which means every week you need 3,000 to survive. That is the dialysis, let alone we haven't also touched on the other treatment you would need. So, dialysis is very expensive, hence the need for us to protect our kidneys and do the best we can to prevent ourselves from getting it. So dialysis is an option for treatment. The other curative option that is there is also kidney transplant. And with kidney transplant, um, you would need a lot of money to do it. And even if you have the money, there is no guarantee that you are going to get a kidney, because not everyone's kidney will match yours. So there needs to be matching and cross, like just like you are taking blood, not just like similar to you taking blood for blood transfusion. We need not anyone's blood will match yours. So with the kidney, you may have tons of money, but you may not have a match, or yes, you may not have a match for you. And even if you have a match, you would also be subjected to a lifelong treatment of immunosuppressants, which will also predispose you to other conditions. So, the best way forward, as we have been discussing all along, is prevention is also better than cure. We need to focus on more on the prevention side and than the treatment side, because all these treatment options are quite expensive and um, mostly with the, above and beyond our financial reach, of is beyond the financial reach of most people, I would say. So these are the three main options of treatment: either controlling the symptoms, dialysis, or getting someone to donate one of the kidneys to you um, for it to be changed for you. So these are the treatments. You are mute.
Thank you so much, Brother Clement, for giving us the treatment options for kidney failure. In this case, upon all the things that you have explained to us today, for us to live healthy, or for us to abstain from things that will lead us into kidney failure, how can an individual be prevented from kidney failure? Or how can an individual prevent kidney failure from occurring? Thank you.
Thank you, Hannah. So there are several steps we can take to protect ourselves or mit- um, mitigate the risks of getting kidney failure. Um, so one major thing for preventing these complications, I would say, chronic kidney failure, the first thing is controlling, if you have any disease, For example, if you have diabetes or hypertension, as we explained when we were talking about the risk factors for developing kidney disease, we know that these conditions can lead us to if care is not taken. So, what we need to do is to bring these diseases under control, first and foremost. So, if you are diagnosed of diabetes or you are diagnosed of hypertension, please um, take your treatments seriously. Yeah. And there are many people, especially when it comes to hypertension, a lot of men and some have fallen victim to a lot of things. These they have um, f- they are fallen victims, I would say, to some people's advice. And these advice, I'm not against anyone taking advice from any individual, but these advice needs to be compared with evidence. So if you are on antihypertensive therapy and someone comes to you and they say, I have an alternative for you, and you are trying it out, please evaluate the effectiveness of this treatment. Yeah, don't take the tablets for months without even going to the doctors to check whether these tablets are working, and taking them in faith. It's your life that um, is on the line, not that individual. So if they give you, you go to someone tells you, I have this traditional medicine that is good for treating hypertension. Good. If you are trying it out, please check whether actually your blood pressure is going down or is maintaining within the normal ranges. If you don't do that and you take the medication in faith and don't check anything, before you realize, you end up with a stroke or worse, kidney problem. So we need to control underlying condition. So high blood pressure, and there are a lot of treatment out there for these conditions, because with high blood pressure you don't see any symptom. So if someone gives you a medication, whether it's working or not, if you don't go to the doctors, you won't know.
That's
So
true.
someone can give you a medication for months without you evaluating the effectiveness, and probably will be charging you, and it may not be helping. So we need to control the underlying condition. Diabetes, the same with blood. Diabetes is one of the most, I would say, one of the most dangerous conditions. Diabetes is very, very, very dangerous if not controlled. However, there are treatments available for controlling diabetes, and I've looked after patients who are like 94 years and they have lived with diabetes for over 70 years. Yeah, what they did is simple. They stick with the advice from their doctors or wherever they were getting their treatment. They went for their regular checkup, they took their medication as prescribed, and they have lived normal lives. Yeah. So controlling these diseases are really keen. So what one sure way of preventing kidney failure is by controlling these underlying conditions, such as diabetes and high blood pressure, so that it doesn't lead you to getting uh, kidney failure. Another thing that one can do is to stop smoking. There is one thing that I have never seen any listed benefit of it, is smoking. There's nowhere I've read that there is any benefit from smoking, apart from developing lung cancer and other things. Those are the things that an individual would get. So quitting smoking, if you are a smoker, is key. Smoking does not only predispose an individual to kidney problems, it predisposes to lung cancer, all sorts of cancers, um, cardiovascular diseases, stroke, and also with chronic kidney disease. So, stopping smoking is generally good for an individual's health. And in relation to the topic we are discussing, quitting smoking would help an individual to prevent um, the development of chronic kidney failure. Now
Thank you
we
so much.
okay, go
No,
ahead.
no, keep on, please.
Yeah. So here we come to my favorite part is healthy diet. So the kidney, just like any other organ in the body, benefit from a healthy diet. Yeah. So as we age, our ability to process um, the food we eat and the medication we take and all those things, it starts to decrease. So an individual after, say, age 35, if I remember correctly from the book I read, the function of your kidneys start to decline. Yeah, which it won't produce any symptom. And if you are eating a normal, then it won't cause any problem. But if you are a person who eats a lot of red meat, for example, a lot of protein based diet, because the kidney, when it filters, it metabolizes, it filters the byproduct, which is mainly ammonia and those things. So as we age, the ability to do these things reduces. So as an individual ages, um, we should be always careful with what we are putting in our mouth. We should be very, very cautious and um, be careful what we are eating. I can't emphasize this um, enough. We have to be very, because what we eat is what we are. So healthy diet is very important to us preventing kidney diseases. So diet that are high in fat, that are high in cholesterol. All these things are not good for the kidneys and are not good for the body in general. So we should eat healthy diet. So we should take plenty of fruits and vegetables. We should also include whole grains in our food. And if possible, if we are eating rice, we should go for the unpolished rice, the one we would call asantemo, the ones that are not polished. Those ones are really, really good. And also, we need to reduce our sugar intake, milk intake, and all those things, because all these things do not help our health in general, and they are not also good for the kidneys. So in a nutshell, eating a healthy diet or a well balanced diet is good for your kidneys. So, in order for us to prevent kidney disease in the near future, we need to eat a balanced diet.
Thank you.
Right. Okay. And can we go to the next slide, please? Okay. So, with alcohol intake, so it's unhealthy to take taking alcohol in um, is not good generally for your health. And with relation to kidney problems, it will be best for an individual to um, abstain from alcohol. So alcohol is one also another thing that affects the whole body. So it also affects the kidneys as well. So alcohol intake should be refrained from, or an individual should not take in any alcohol if possible. However, there are people who cannot abstain, so hence the advice, um, you also have to reduce the or manage your intake of these things if you want to live a long and healthy life. Regular exercises also help improve circulation, and in the case of kidney, as I referred to earlier, the kidney rely on blood vessels, blood supply. So what once we are exercising, we the heart is beating more forcefully and is pushing blood to any or every organ in the body. So these exercises help to maintain the kidneys, and it helps to flushing out the toxins, and it helps the kidneys to get enough oxygen supply. So regular exercises is very keen, and the recommendation is that every week we have to do at least moderate to intense aerobic exercise such as cycling, walking. Each week we need to do 150 hours 150 minutes, sorry. So it's on average, it's about, if you are to do um 30 minutes exercise, moderate to intense exercise every day, you need only 30 minutes of it. So for example, if you like going for a walk every day, aim to walk for about 30 to 45 minutes for 5 days a week, and you are pretty much okay for the week. If you can do more, it's better, but this is the minimum amount. And one thing I've realized is that um, most, I don't know if I put it in that way is correct, but when back home in Ghana, when I was in Ghana, I realized that, and in contrast to being in the UK, one thing I've seen in comparing the two societies is that the people in the UK like exercising more than we do in Africa. I don't know why, but we don't, we usually put it down to, oh, our work is intense, but some of the people here also in the UK also do hard work, but I think it's more of their culture. They are more used to it, and I think if we adapt it, it will help us very much. They usually go for runs, walking, and all those things, and it's really good for our health. It's just like eating. We should exercise just daily as we would eat daily, because once the food go in the body, it needs to be burnt. And if we don't do that, and over the years, months, we pile in more calories, we are just piling problems on ourselves. So at least 30 minutes average exercise per day is recommended for each individual. And this is the last thing that I will talk about prevention is painkillers. One of the common things that lead people to developing kidney disease is um, taking in these over-the-counter medication. And um, in Ghana, I know, and I have I don't want to say I know, but there are a lot of self-medicating that we do. Um, so people, if they have they have body aches, they will go to the drugstore and buy naproxen, ibuprofen, all sorts of medication, and this become a routine that every other day when they go out to work and they come back and they are feeling unwell or they are feeling pains, they will go and take this medication. And what this medication does, it constricts, they are non-steroidal anti-inflammatory. What they do, there are some hormones in the body that the body produces to help open up blood vessels. Yeah. So one of them is called prostaglandins. So with these drugs, they block those hormones from working. So it the body would not produce the prostaglandins, or it will produce, the body will be stopped from producing those prostaglandins, which will in turn open the blood vessels for enough blood to go into the kidneys. So once you're doing this over time, what you are starving your kidney of blood supply. And just like any other part of the body, if you tie it off or you starve it of oxygen, it will die. So it is not recommended that we self-medicate over the counter medication, especially with these NSAIDs. ibuprofen, naproxen, and all those things. We should be very, very careful with these painkillers, as if we do not take care over time, we will end up with kidney problems, and we wouldn't know why. We got to you will say, oh, we don't have diabetes, we don't have any predisposing factor, but probably every other day you take NSAID for back pains. So that is why you have ended up with that. So not just about pain medication, but any other medication, we have to be careful how we use them. We need to get professional advice before we take any other medication. So that will be the end of the presentation. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much, Brother
And
Clement.
Clement,
Yes,
There is
yes, George.
something that from Richmond
so
Media that I
you hear
wanted to
that?
add. Mhm. No, no,
Yeah,
no.
you hear
Speak
that,
on,
like,
brother.
as yeah, as you were speaking about the pain medication, you realize, especially some individuals initially started, like, especially like our females, they started like menstrual pains. So they will visit a facility and they will give them some analgesics. It works for them. The following month, when they experience that, they will use the same box, go to the pharmacy, procure that one. Over time, you realize that you become resistant to it and you need to top up. So we have some people who have every month they are combining pain medication, similar to like the men who are also abusing the pain medication. So to reach more viewers and listeners, what we want to talk about is that at times you might eat well, you might exercise, you might do anything, but just pain medications that you are abusing alone can predispose you to this condition that we are talking about. And when you come, I don't think Clement or myself or Auntie Bimah will be able or willing to give you their kidney for a transplant. No, it will not happen. So we want our viewers to also take that into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for
Brother
your
Clement,
contribution.
Brother Clement, are you want to summarize the topic, please?
Yeah. So, in a summary, all that we have discussed today is how we are going to protect ourselves or prevent ourselves from getting chronic kidney failure. So, in a summary, the preventive measures that we talked about are managing any underlying condition we have, especially if we have diabetes or high blood pressure. Other things that we can also do is to quit smoking, stop taking in any alcohol if we are taking in any. Also, we also have to eat healthy. Healthy eating is in general good for our health and well-being. We also have to exercise regularly, and we also have to be careful of any medication we are taking. If we are taking any painkillers, we need to know how long we are going to take it for, and we need to seek medical advice in order to prevent ourselves from unknowingly plunging ourselves into developing kidney failure or chronic kidney disease. So that's a summary of the whole lesson. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brother Clement, for your input into this program. And Brother George, may God richly bless you as you are always available for Richmond Media. To everyone who made it possible to watch us all, to listen to us this afternoon, we say, may God bless you all as you continue to promote health and create awareness for others who don't know what to do or the way to go by the healthy living will also benefit from us. This afternoon, the program is brought to you by Hanna Bimah Richmond Media to your doorsteps. The same time again every Sunday, 3 p.m. UK time. Wherever you are, you can convert the time into your own zone. However, if you like any information, contact Richmond Media and that information will be given to you. Until then, it is bye bye for now. Have it.
Say